and welcome back to the Secret Vocal Academy. She's recently recorded her first EP in Seattle with producer Andy D. Park and with her live band. You can read all of this on her YouTube channel. The link is obviously in the description. She was an awardee of the Record and Release Grant from Help Musicians, and she's now planning releases from her time in Seattle. Now, we're going to go into the interview, but she was supported by BBC Introducing, which is fantastic, and was featured on the new Grey Whistle test a while ago. So we'll talk about that. What we're going to talk about in this interview is the ups and downs, the real ups and downs of being an artist in 2023, being a singer-songwriter, and the close wins and near misses. So please let me introduce to you my good friend, Rae Travers.
Hello, what an intro. The misses. We can talk about the misses mostly. No.
No, okay. So tell us a bit more about yourself, like the type of music you create, why you went into music. I mean, it's kind of obvious. You kind of have to if you're if you get the call. I mean, but why you chose music and you chose this side rather than the safe side.
Oh, right, I know. Do you know, weirdly, I was thinking about this last night. I don't know why. I've just finished my teaching job for a couple of weeks, and I was thinking back that, like, when I was a child, I always wrote songs, but they were really crap. And there's always this one song that my sister's friends never let me live down. So it's this ongoing joke. So I was like, I've always written songs ever since I was little. For me, just like from the core, it's just about dealing with my emotions, really. That's where it comes from. And then I only took it seriously when I started uni, science degree, and I was like, this is not me.
So you did choose the safe side.
I chose to start it because I didn't know what there was any other option. You know, it was like I went to college and got A-levels, and I was always doing music on the side, but there was no real, like, I didn't know about anything, you know. It wasn't so well known that you could go and study music other than the classical side, you know.
Yeah, right. Because when we were younger, there actually weren't that many music courses, either in FE or in higher education.
No, not unless it was obviously classical music. So I did a year at Nottingham Uni, and it was like science degree. And within that year, I taught myself guitar, and I found ICMP and LIPA. So I only auditioned for those two, and I ended up going to ICMP in London, and that's when, I guess I really started doing music properly. And then country and folk. I mean, Laura Marling was my earliest influence in a sense, so that I took it seriously. I learned the guitar because of her. I was a pianist before that. I learned the piano classically. So folk was always a thing that I was just drawn to. It was Mumford & Sons, like Lucy Rose. But kind of over the years, right now, I guess I'd call it old country, because I think my voice, a lot of people associate with country due to it's just how it sounds. But like I take influences from folk, country, Americana, but also like pop as well, and kind of fuse it all together to make my own genre within that.
Yeah, I think I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
So when was the moment that you realised that music was what you were going to? Was it when you applied for the music degree that we were on together, or was it during that time? Had you already realised that music was what you were going to put your heart and soul into before you took the degree?
Yeah, I don't think it's something like you decide. I think it's just something that's within you, isn't it? Right? It's just like kind of what you do. And then I just didn't know that you could kind of make it into a degree. Just coming from that sort of family, and our time, it was like get a degree. When as soon as I came to ICMP, I felt like I was like in the right place, even though I lived in, which is an awful house in Cricklewood.
I remember that house.
And it cost £90 a week, may I add. And my wardrobe was on the landing because my room was too small. But I was like really happy. Yeah. that was what I wanted to do, like carry my rubbish guitar around London. At the time I had such a bad guitar. If I rocked up to like an open mic or something like that now, it would just be
you'd have to borrow one.
yeah, for sure. So that's where it all kind of began, and then since then it's been a up and down ride.
So how different do you think it would have been if you realised that you wanted to do music, if you hadn't come to London and done your degree and lived in a house with other musicians as well, who were around the same age as you, on the same journey, wanting the same things? How different do you think it might have been if you'd gone back to, you're from Birmingham, aren't you? If you'd gone back to there and tried and done music from there?
It's hard to know, really, just because I don't really have family that are in music, or I didn't have, I had people that I kind of sang with around the area, but I didn't have like a huge friendship group of musicians, so it's really hard to know. And being back here now, even so, like I'm finding it difficult to find a community here. So yeah, I really don't know. I really don't know what would have happened. Probably run off somewhere else.
Yeah, right. So if it hadn't been
something, done a Taylor Swift. Wow.
Yeah, why not? Wow, that might have been really fun.
If it wasn't a completely different situation,
Right, okay. We'll talk about that in a bit. So then, what happened after you finished your degree?
I ended up working at ICMP.
Of course you did, yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember having a gig at Ronnie Scott's, and I remember, was it Paul? It was Paul and Pete that own it, and I think it was Pete that came to the gig. So I think in like not an egotistical way, I think they thought I was going to achieve some good things. But like I really struggled with performance anxiety, and so like a gig for me would be like a whole day of torture before. And like, even though like it's what I wanted to do and I loved performing, it was like the entire time I was noticing I was concentrating on what other people were doing around me, and were they listening, were they talking, so I started to kind of get a bit caught up in that, and I did a really bad gig and it just really shook me. So like I just kind of took a bit of a sidestep for a while, so for quite a while really, which is when I look back now, I'm like, I'm really annoyed at myself, but you can only do how you're feeling in the time, I guess.
Yeah. So what would you say, because there will be people who watch this who are maybe experiencing performance anxiety right now, what would you say to them to kind of give them some support and maybe advice?
I think for me, it was only when I went to Philadelphia like a year ago to visit a label, and I did a gig with them. Don't tell Border Control. And he was like, that feeling, he was like, is adrenaline. Like, and he was like, he gave me some really good advice, and it was like to just go for a walk beforehand, or like do some sort of exercise, like do like a run or go for a walk. Just get that physical like adrenaline out of your body. It's not entirely down to that, I don't think, but I think that really helped me, and that was only something I learned recently. It's hard because I think it's like age as well, and like how much you do it. Like I found that when I started gigging more, got quite busy back here for a time, I was less worried and less anxious about it. And I've definitely not as bad as I used to be at all. It depends on the day, how I'm feeling. So yeah, just a combination of really good advice from Winding Way Records. To do some exercise before, get fresh air, go for a walk, and get that kind of adrenaline out your system, really.
Yeah, and adrenaline comes up when we're nervous and when we're excited. So one of the things that I've said to clients of mine is, it's sometimes it can be the choice between the language. Am I feeling nervous or am I feeling excited? I've always, I've been on stage since I was 8, so that's a really long time, 29 years. So 39 years, a long time, right? Most of my life. So I've always associated that feeling with excitement, but with a bit of nervousness. So sometimes it can be the language you use as well. So the combination of using up the adrenaline, telling yourself that actually it's exciting as well. And another thing that I always say to singers and musicians is we're doing something that most people in the world are never, ever going to do.
Yeah,
it's a really special thing that we do. And rather than, and I don't say that to make them even more nervous and, to put the pressure on, but to, understand and kind of take on board that it's a really special thing that we do. And we're lucky to be able to do it because most people are never going to do it.
Yeah. I think for me, like the difference at that time was I wouldn't eat all day. It was to that extent. Yeah, I wouldn't eat because I'd feel physically sick all day. And I remember once before Ronnie Scott's gig, someone was like, they came up to me like, "What have you taken?" And I went, "What do you mean?" I was that nervous. Someone thought I was on drugs. And I was like, "No, I'm genuinely just this nervous. I go to the toilet constantly." Definitely not that bad anymore. But
you would never have known it, like watching you on stage. You would never have known that you were that nervous.
I think it's for me, why I get like that is a mixture of I hate looking stupid, so I'm scared to mess something up.
Yes,
that's the biggest thing for me, and also I put a lot of pressure on that small moment, even if it's 3 songs at some sort of joint night or even an open mic, even though you'd think this isn't a big deal. Because to me, it was I want people to like it. I want people to like me. So I've kind of got rid of that a little bit. And I've started being a bit more I don't care if someone talks or if someone doesn't like it, because it's nothing personal. It's just it's not their thing or whatever. Yeah. So it's kind of taking the pressure off of that. And also I did really mess up at a gig once and it was just really funny. So now I'm
yeah. I remember doing a wedding, one of the wedding gigs I did, and it was for a friend, right? And the friend it's for a friend's brother. And they'd requested a song by Take That. I can't remember what song it was. And so we hadn't really done, it was really naughty. We hadn't really done a proper rehearsal with the band because they lived so far away from me. And we got to the gig and was we had the set list. And then we did the request. I'd learnt the wrong song. So they were playing one song and I was singing a completely different song. At a wedding. It was awful. I felt so bad, but I just
was
had
it
to
an
laugh.
obvious thing, or was it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The bridesmaids were like, "This is not the right song." So in the end, I had to give them the mic and let them sing it. So just turned it around that way. It's there you go, you sing it. It's your day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a different situation, but we all have bad gigs, don't we? We all have a moment where we're thinking, why am I doing this? Why don't I go and work in Sainsbury's?
Yeah, I know. I'll just get some data job and hide behind my computer.
Yeah. So, well, let's talk about the more fun stuff and the and some of the wins you've had because you've done some really good stuff. Tell us a bit about. I know it was a while ago, but what happened with BBC Midlands?
Well, so this is my first EP as my new alias. So I have actually put music out before, 2019, and it was the first kind of music I'd ever really put out. I was kind of learning and doing it myself. I kind of produced it with my friend Russell Smith. It was amazing to kind of step in and help me with it all, and got some BBC introducing plays from it, which was really good, and got some repeat plays from that, and then also recently had an interview with their new presenter as well, all about songwriting. Funnily enough, they entered, I entered a song for a separate competition and I tagged it, but they kind of took it as a song. So they actually accidentally played a demo of mine on the radio.
Oh, okay.
Which was weird, but also I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Complimentary.
What was the name of that song?
It was the Wise Now. Yeah, so I'd done a demo of my live drums, and I recorded it myself. It was never meant to be heard by anyone except the producer, and also just clips on social media. But so he played it on there, and then we had a long interview about songwriting. So that was really cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to putting out some new music and having a good relationship with them because I think the new presenter quite likes folk music, which is a great connection.
Brilliant. What's the presenter's name?
Harry Bosmans. He's the producer of the show. So yeah, actually he runs some live nights in Birmingham. So I went down to one of those recently as well. So yeah, hopefully with this new stuff they'll get on board as well.
Brilliant. I look forward to that, and we'll put all the links in, of course, in the description. So, what's the next thing for Rae Travers? What can we look out for apart from, you kind of just said, but what's the next?
I know.
What are you looking forward to? So you've just had some funding work. Can you talk about that and how that came about?
Yeah, so I guess like I moved home like 2021, but like late 2021. And in that time since then, I went to Seattle, recorded this music. Every kind of step has been like, okay, now I have to stop for a bit and go teach, get some more money, do the next stage. But luckily, I applied for Help Musicians, which is a grant you can get for all sorts of projects. They do loads of amazing grants. And I applied the first time and got turned down, and then tried again, and I was like shocked because normally you have to try quite a few times.
Yeah.
And for some reason I managed to get it, and that's to support like the release of the music. So I got that in December, and then planned everything out to get filming done, photos done, all that sort of stuff in January, February. So that's kind of all done now, and now I'm just like at the difficult point of where I actually need to start going about releasing it. And I can't lie, I am putting it off a little bit.
If only you knew someone who could help you with your marketing.
I've spent half the budget on video pictures, and then I've also saved the next half of it for marketing and advertising and things like that. But I'm now also having to teach myself about all those things.
Yeah.
But I think everyone's like, when are you going to put songs out? And I'm like, it's just not that easy. And also I don't want to just put them out and it just not be heard by anyone. This is something anyone can do now. It's so oversaturated. And these songs cost a lot of money, and B, mean a lot. So what I don't want to do is just rush it for like the sake of it.
That's a really, really good point. So when if you haven't put any music out, for anyone who's watching, if you haven't put music out before, or if you have put music out before and it hasn't really reached a big audience, it's because of the things you do before the launch. So the launch is like the beginning of the next phase of the song or of the music. So the marketing really starts a long time beforehand. So you really have to plan it out. You have to let people know that it's going to come out, what it's going, who it's for, where it's going to be, where people can hear it, where people can come and see you before you get to that point, so that when you're ready to launch, you've got an audience who are waiting, and they're waiting for the music to come out, so that when it comes out, they grab hold of it. And that's how you make it. That's how you create a successful launch.
There's just so much behind, releasing it in terms of just like reaching out to playlisters, trying to reach out to bloggers, trying to reach out to just anyone really to kind of get any sort of support. But really, I mean, the advice now is to not just release music, it's to kind of build your own following online and then release music when people are interested in you. But for me, it was more of, I kind of went against all the advice and didn't just produce myself as well. But like for me, it was more than that. It was I wanted to make a certain thing. I'm older. Something my bucket list that I wanted to do is to create something that I was really, really proud of, and not just like, oh, this is what I've been working on. Like I'm producing it, which is amazing too. But I know that there's no way that I could produce the kind of thing that I wanted to have musically. I just went against all industry advice. Like, don't release songs to no one, which I don't want to do, and I'm not going to do, but I have them ready,
Well, that's the thing. You've got them ready, and you'll build a following. One of the reasons that I wanted to invite you on here is so that we could build your following as well. So I'm glad that you said yes, and also because I really love your music.
No, I really appreciate, honestly, genuinely your support, like forever. I'm like, oh, Carrie's always there. Carrie's a true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Start.
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like guilty that I haven't, success means loads of different things. I haven't made a career that's, financially, relying on my music. And I'm always like in the back of my mind, like, oh, I feel like I'm letting Carrie down.
God, no. I just, every time we put a song on, I'm just like, yeah, I love it.
No, I'm like...
I'm just happy that you carry on making music.
Contemplating with, like, I took some of the songs down just because they didn't meet my production level, which is...
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, everyone's like, oh, you see growth. But for me, it's like, I'm not so proud of that anymore. But the couple that I have left on, I'm still proud of. And I think it's nice to see that growth. But yeah, it's just got to change my name.
Yeah, you should change your name. Yeah. Okay, so for anyone out there who is either in the same position as you, so there are millions of musicians out there who are doing what we do, writing, creating, meeting up with other musicians, having the highs, having the lows. What advice would you give to someone who's in the same position? And then if you could talk about when, to someone who's starting out, what advice would you give? So let's start with people who are in the same position right now, in the middle of it.
Yeah, I mean, God, I'm part of a group of girls who I met through this songwriting group. And honestly, if it wasn't for them, I'd probably be going insane. I think when you really realise how everyone's really just like going through the same emotions, because no one really knows what you have to do. I feel like I'm at a different point now where I'm older. So there's things that, I can't just do because I'm young and I need to worry about finances and stuff. But I would just throw everything into it. Like if I could go back, I would just like forget about going out.
Yeah.
Not entirely, but like I think I got caught up in the social life of like the uni and the music scene. And I would just put all of myself into the project. First, figure out what you want to do, because like I've battled with that. I've tried to kind of get into function singing. It's kind of had hit and misses, but it's like it's a whole job in itself.
Yeah.
It's just really choose your goal. It's just an artist's goal is the one that's the most difficult to support yourself financially with. So I think just for me, the teaching allows me to come and go from it and still support myself. So yeah, I hope that's advice. I'm not sure. I'm still advising myself.
Well, we're all
don't give up. Like I literally said that to myself when I was like teaching in London. I was so unhappy that I was like, I quit, and it was like a scary thing to do because I didn't want to move home. And all of that. But someone was like, if it scares you, it's the right choice, and it scared me. And it was that choice of like I quit before. For a period of my life, and so every time I get to this point where I go, it's too hard, I just can't do it, I just keep going, just don't quit yet.
Yeah, just don't quit. Something I heard when I was actually doing a lot of touring. I was in a band. For those of you watching that don't know, I was in a band that was really, really quite successful for probably about 8 years. I was in the band for 5 of those years, and one of the things that something that I've heard while on tour actually was, if you're looking to make a decision, do you want to look back on your life and wish that you had made the decision, or would you be happy if you hadn't? And so if you'd wish that you'd made that decision, then that's the right decision.
Yeah, that's crazy actually, because I have moments of weakness and I'm like, oh, I can't do this. Like, I would like to have a house and some money.
Right. Yeah.
When I meet my normal friends, as I call them, and they seem content, and that's good. They have money and they have a house and they get to spend their money sometimes on going on holiday. But
well,
like I also
touring is a holiday. Right? That's our holiday.
I also know that they also have to do that job like every single day. And like I don't know what that would look like for me. So
yeah. Exactly. So I teach as well. I teach in an FE college in London, and I'm at the point now where actually, well, to be fair, my businesses are really taking off, and I'll talk about that in another video. It's not about me, but to support your point is that I'm now at the point where I can't do my job anymore because it doesn't give me the freedom to do what I want to do, A, with my music and with my life, but B, with my businesses, because my business are growing so much. I need to take the time out from work to build my businesses. Yeah. So it's a different type. I mean, but it's all to do with music anyway. So the music industry is so big. So one of the things that I do is to help musicians and artists to build an online presence, to build their presence. So getting like you were talking about earlier, reaching out to bloggers, getting visibility on things like podcasts, radio interviews, TV interviews, getting magazine features, magazine front covers, making finding producers. I've got 3 producers that we work with for people who don't know who to work with. I've got a video maker, someone who can record and edit music videos. And so we have the whole package for people who either haven't got the time or don't know where to start. We do all of that. It's like a done with you and a done for you service. We've got social media campaign templates, email templates, newsletter templates, all the things that you need. That it's like when you're starting out, you're like, are you serious? I've got to do all this shit.
It's overwhelming. It's very overwhelming, especially if you're just not naturally good at those things.
No, and it's finding the people who believe in you and want to work with you, and then the people who actually going to work with you and put the time in to help to make you a successful artist. But so for people who are starting out, having mentioned all of that stuff, what would you say to someone who is like just contemplating or has just made the decision that actually I'm going to go all in? There's going to be ups and downs. And what would you say to them through the good times and the more difficult times?
I mean, again, I guess this is like, if you want to be a songwriter, I think I've said it before, but it's really just to kind of throw yourself into it fully and like try and surround yourself with similar people. Because I find that, like, I think when I went to music college, you're surrounded by musicians. So you've got people that you just naturally will build a friendship with, and you'll go, oh, let's write a song, or let's make a band. And, at that point, you're not reliant on it being financial because you're still studying, whatever. But yeah, I guess to kind of, first of all, think like what it is that you actually want to achieve. And also, I think my friend said this to me, because we constantly think like, what should I do? What should I do? And he, like, I'll never forget, it's been so useful, to be honest. He's called Lloyd, he's a producer. And he was like, just do stuff. Stop thinking.
Yeah.
There's a million things you could do, but it's like, you don't know what to do first. You don't know what to start with. You don't know what's the best thing to do. And it's like, just take all that away and just do something.
Yeah.
Like, just do something. Like, what do you actually want to do? Like, I'm trying to do that a bit more myself. Like, I've got this break coming up where I've got to like pivot my brain back into artist mode, and like I was like, oh, I'm already overwhelmed, but I think the first thing I'm going to do is like listen to some music that I like, and then just kind of sit at the guitar and do something that I actually just like doing. And then it will kind of inspire me just to get going again.
Yeah, that's great advice.
I'm not really sure.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. Just do stuff. Just get shit done. Like, yeah.
Keep telling myself that constantly.
Yeah. And avoid comparing yourself to others. There's always going to be someone who's doing something different, and that's a good thing, because we're all different.
Yeah.
So I think we've come to the end. Is there anything else you want to say? We'll talk about what's where we can find you, but is there anything else you want to say to anyone who's watching?
Gosh, I don't know. I feel like at the moment I'm really like bogged down in like the whole world seems to be like going mad. And part of me's like, I know this is not probably the most uplifting to say. Part of me's like, what do my songs matter? In this whole crazy world right now, like, what am I? But then also, I think music is so powerful, and it actually really does matter. So yeah, that's it, I guess.
I love that. That's a great thing to end on. Thank you. So where can we find you?
You can find me anywhere, Carrie, anywhere you look. Apart from OnlyFans.
Oh, no. Yes, apart from OnlyFans, I won't be on
although
there.
I wish.
You can make some money.
Make some quick bucks, but unfortunately I do not look like that. No, I'm joking, don't do that. Everywhere, every social media account, mostly. Spotify,
and it's Rae Travers.
Online, I'm changing my name, so it'll all be updated. But yeah.
So Rae Travers.
Rae Travers Music, yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Rae.
No, it's weird, right? Even mine might be Rae. No one's ever called me Rae. My granddad was called Raymond.
Oh.
So kind of.
Hello, granddad. Well, thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing what's coming up for you.
All right, mate. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So thank you so much for joining us. The next episode, I don't know who's going to be on because I can't remember who I've booked, but we will have Roger Burnley, who is an amazing vocal coach. He is also a personal development coach. He's helped me loads with my own personal development, helping me get over stuff. We will have Greg Enrique. Still haven't asked him, but I'm sure he's going to say yes. He worked with Seth Riggs, who created the speech level singing type of singing. He is another amazing vocal coach who has helped me, and everything that I learn from these vocal coaches I pass on to my own clients who I help with their singing as well. So look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Take care, and as always, stay hydrated. Ciao.